welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm your host, Ian Carlos Crawford, and joining me for our first episode on Angel, I have three of my co-hosts. First up, he hosts My Bloody Judy and Coffee and Tequila and is my official podcast husband.
Zachary, Patton, Garcia.
And he is a Twitch streamer and my former roommate.
Oh, that's me. Hi.
Say your name.
Jason Sulli. Sorry.
And she played the only character that rivals my love for Cordelia, Margot on The Magicians.
Hi, Summer Bishil.
Hi everyone. I'm so glad we're here. I was texting Zach earlier. I was like nervous because this is like a new series with like a lot of, I've only done Buffy and then like the Marvel shows that have like 6 episodes. So this is like,
This is an undertaking. This is 5 seasons, 20 plus episodes per season.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've committed now.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I've committed. You're all locked in with me. You're tethered to me now, Summer.
I'm in it. I'm excited. It's fun.
And we have, I got to tell everyone, I asked 11 people and all 11 said yes at first. One person had to drop out, but I was very flattered that everyone wanted to do this. That was like super fucking cool for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, I'm really excited that what we're going to do is the first 11 episodes until the first episode of Wesley is going to be all just co-hosts. And then after that, I'll start doing the usual format of 2 guests and 2 co-hosts, aside from some special episodes.
You couldn't put spoiler alert before Wesley? Jeez.
I think everyone knows that by now. I do occasionally on Instagram get like someone who's like, "Oh, you spoiled it," and I'm like,
Really?
"This show's very old."
Like, then don't listen to the pod. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, because we are definitely going to be saying like last episode stuff today, probably.
yes. God, I literally for the it was the anniversary of the finale airing two days ago, what's time, but I had to like screen record and I cried just like even just pulling clips from the
How
finale.
dare you with that post, by the way? I saw it. I was like, oh.
I did too, and I was shocked watching that, and then watching this episode that I had to watch for this, and the difference in like budget for a finale.
Yeah.
Like this is such a they had money in this episode, and then the finale they're just standing in an alleyway, and you see like 7 extras on the other side, kind of shaking their arms up and down.
I mean, to be fair, I do remember when it aired, it felt bigger, but yeah, looking, it's like, oh, that's like 4 people in a crowd, and they just like put a shadow.
They're using like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer alleyways. This is not the Angel alleyways of season 1.
I mean, I know when we interviewed Charisma, she did say that Angel weirdly always went over budget, which feels weird for like a spin-off show, right? Like, and
I feel like David Boreanaz is like that.
That's fair. Summer, you're the one who's actually been on a TV show. Like, how does that work? Do they like yell at you? Do you like
if the show goes over budget?
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever the actor's fault. Like, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, sometimes it probably is. Like, if they do something that delays production and they can't shoot without the actor. But I feel like it's production's job to stay on budget and manage that budget effectively and find solutions for any problems that may pop up. Because life does pop up. Like, sometimes people get sick or they can't shoot. Sometimes people smash their face in on accident, and you got to shoot around that and have other scenes play. And I feel like a good production should usually be able to manage their budget effectively.
She's laying down the hammer.
I mean, I don't know what happened though. You know what I mean? And I don't know what their budget was or anything. So, but usually I think spin-offs are less money than the original. Like, I don't think the network invested as much as they probably had in Buffy. And then Buffy had probably been running for several years at this point. So there probably wasn't as much money even going into Buffy because then salaries get higher.
And so the budget gets, Yeah,
so the budget for each episode gets, bigger and bigger to make. And so corners are getting cut because it's all going to salary.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember reading, I'm not sure if this is true, but that's kind of why Chilling Adventures of Sabrina got canceled, because it was just like, it was like a well-received show, but the like
Mhm.
salaries for the actors kept going up, and then although I always feel like Netflix loves to cancel their shows, and
They
like
do.
they could probably afford them.
I don't
Mhm.
know about now. They're losing
like-
200,000. They're sinking.
That's true.
I'm like picturing going over budget and like, because like the past retail me is like a manager walks up to be like, hey, can I borrow you for a second? Walk with me. And it's like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Or the production just goes over budget and goes over time, and they go to Summer and just yell at her.
That's it. Like that they always like single one person out,
Yeah.
It's always Summer's fault. If we go over time, we'll make sure to yell at Summer too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, Summer, since we're saying your name, how did you get into Angel? I'm curious. Like, I know how you got into Buffy, but what's your like
Right.
Angel origin?
I honestly think my Angel origin is just because I had rewatched Buffy so many times that it was like, girl, you gotta watch something else. And Angel was just the obvious choice. But it was kind of like season 1 for me was something I had to kind of like get through to get to like what I really loved about Angel. Like I love when Darla is introduced later on in
Yeah. Julie Benz is so good, right?
She's so good. She just like the promise of Darla's character just like blossoms in Angel, and you get to see so much of her. I mean, the character development for Darla was truly exceptional. Like her journey in Angel is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I think a lot about like, again, spoiler, when she's like pregnant and stakes herself in the alley. Like it's such a good moment.
Oh my god, yes.
I think I missed the school bus for that moment.
Wait, really?
I think I did. I remember. Yeah. We'll come back. I'm pretty sure that.
It's really cute. Jason, how did you get into Angel?
I don't remember. No, I'm just joking. So I think I've said it on the Buffy podcast is that Ian was the one who sat me down. We watched through my first Buffy the whole thing together. But the thing is, I don't know if everyone knows Ian, you have to do things correctly.
Oh gosh.
So we watched Angel on time with the same episodes that were played that time at like, okay, we have to watch this Buffy episode and this Angel episode. So so according to Ian, I watched everything correctly, which is great. But honestly, I will tell you now, and I will forever think this. I like Angel better.
Hot take.
And I will be that
like
person.
This person on this podcast.
I know a lot of people don't like it, but oh boy.
Jason, you're killing it, because I always say that you and Zach would get along so well, and now you're ruining it.
Hey, I can't help it. Like, what do you want me to do?
Like Buffy more.
It's just where I am. I'm not saying
answer.
I don't like Buffy. I just like Angel better. Now, from the first season, I didn't like Angel better from the first season. I'll tell you that much. But
okay, that's a better statement.
Yeah, it's not. I didn't like
Misogyny.
watch the first episode and be like, oh yeah, I like Angel better. Absolutely not. That's just wild.
Zachary, how did you get into Angel?
I really don't even remember. Obviously it came from Buffy. I think it was probably a similar thing. Either the season had ended or something. I don't know. But I remember seeing them on TNT in the mornings before I would go to school. They would have these blocks of like either Charmed or Angel. And I would watch like 1 or 2 episodes before school. I would leave. I think the school bus would come like in the middle of the second episode or something like that. So that's how I missed the school bus when Darla was staking herself, because I like could not walk away.
Yeah,
like absolutely not. So I remember my mom was pissed too. She was mad. But I just got so frustrated watching this show in like, I would watch like an episode or 2 and then come back and I'm like 4 episodes behind and not understand what's happening. And I remember I needed to see the Buffy episode, and I checked the TV guide. I checked the little listing. I was waiting for it, and it came as I was supposed to be going to school. And so I went out and I bought the box set. I used my birthday money to buy the box set just so I could see the Buffy episode.
Box sets were so expensive.
$50, dude. $50.
Yeah.
Man.
It's funny. Zach and I were just talking because he was giving me a cool idea for photos, and I was like, oh yeah, I have those box sets. And then I remembered I lost Angels season 1 and 2 box sets. So now, because I kept the only DVDs I like still own are my Buffy and Angel DVDs. But the Angel ones, seasons 1 and 2, are when they redid them into like just like a tiny slipcase, so I don't have the like giant box. But yeah, that shit was expensive, and it was only like once a year they would come out or something.
It was we had to wait a long time, but you know what? It was always worth it to me because those box sets were like really nicely made. They like folded out, like they had like 7 little leaves in it. You know, they had a booklet and everything. You go to Walmart now and you get the little box sets that are all like, I don't know, it's all shoved like 7 discs shoved in a single case.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? You know what I remember though, Ian? When we were watching, we started with the box sets.
Yeah.
And then it started streaming on Netflix. Like in the I really wish I could remember what season we were on.
That's funny. I remember we started with the box sets. I didn't remember that
we
it went
started
on
with the box sets. I want to say it was like season 4 or 5 in Buffy. So we were
Did
already
you guys,
into Angel too.
So you didn't then, Jason, but Ian and Summer, did you guys watch it while it was on TV?
I could not because I was still in Bahrain.
Okay.
So I don't even think I don't know how we got television. I remember watching Buffy when it would come on. Probably like we would get television episodes like a week or 2 later, and maybe not all the shows, and unless you had like satellite, I think. Like it's been a while, but I don't think I could really like religiously watch anything.
That's fair. Summer, I love when you tell stories like you're like, because you've lived in so many like different places. Like sometimes you're in London, sometimes you were in Canada.
My best friend from childhood who I grew up with in Bahrain was just visiting with her mom. They left yesterday, and we were just talking about like we look at kids now and they're like, they entertain themselves with like games or their phones, and we're like,
yeah.
We literally, like, it would flood, like the island would flood, and it would be so not hygienic, and we would just be like, wow, the island's our pool. Like, probably got like that, like, we had nothing to do, but we had so much fun. And of course, now Bahrain is like Dubai. I mean, it's so built up. It's like such a cosmopolitan area now, but there was like nothing to do then.
Love that you're like, oh, when it flooded, we had so much fun.
Yeah,
that's imagination. Imagination.
Exactly. But I knew about Buffy. Like I had seen it on sometime, so obviously, like I was aware of it at that point and a fan, but I couldn't watch it, properly.
Right. Yeah. What's weird is I don't remember the first episode of Angel I watched, but I remember I didn't really like it. I mean, it came on after Buffy, right? So sometimes if like I wasn't doing anything, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll watch this, and like casually watching it, but never liking it that much, but always being like, well, Cordelia's in this and I like Cordelia.
Yeah.
But like in season 1, she's not in it that she's like very much, oh, she has 2 scenes where she says like fun things and then, but that's it.
Yeah.
So I remember like not caring as much, but I know that once season 3, which I still say season 3 and 5 are my favorites of Angel. I know season 3 was when I started getting into it. And then season 4, when I knew that it was the last season of Buffy, but it wasn't the last season of Angel. That was when I was like, okay, now Angel's becoming a show I tape religiously like Buffy, because it will be, the only thing in that universe left once Buffy's done. So season 4 does have a special place in my heart, even though I don't love it, as I don't love the storylines very all over the place. But that's when I started like religiously watching, because I wanted to make sure like I knew what was going on and like could go back to stuff if I wanted to. So 4 and 5 are always like pretty good in my memory. It's the earlier seasons that I don't remember as well, even though like I made Jason watch them. I went through them with like 2 different boyfriends and another roommate. But yeah, so I guess we'll get into the episode. I kind of had forgotten. This episode's so like weird in my mind. But I just watched it today. And it starts pretty abruptly, right?
Yeah. He's like, Angel's like drunk talking about Buffy.
Yeah, but I like how it started though, because I feel like it was kind of an expectation that it's just like, oh, you better talk about Buffy right away. You know what I mean? Like with just leaving. So I liked it.
Yeah.
Started how it should have started.
Because he when we left him, right, he would be getting over this relationship still, even though like he left her, but he's still like really moody about it. But it's a nice like scene opener that he would be, because he's pretending to be drunk, right? Like he's not actually drunk.
Yeah.
But he would be, talking about the girl that we all know, and then we get our little Buffy fan service there. I just want to apologize before we get at the beginning of this whole season. I want to apologize because I found him so sexy in this episode, and I have a feeling it's going to be like that for the rest of the season. I hate Angel. I cannot stand this man. I do not like Angel. I think he's so mopey, so moody. He's always just like in a corner somewhere going. Like always. But when he doesn't have that jacket on, he was like wearing this like black sweater thing this whole episode, and I was feeling fanny flutters like the entire episode.
Wait, Zach, I want you to know, because I don't want you to think that like I just put this, but literally when we get to favorite outfit, that's literally I'm going to talk about that because yes, and I Zach, I love when we align. Zach and I can never predict Zach's taste, but I feel like Zach, you're pretty good at predicting my taste.
He looks they spent money to make him look real good in this episode.
He does look good, and like like you said, Zach, it's just like a plain black like maybe knit shirt, but it like he wears it well.
Yeah.
And Zach, I love that we'll switch places too, and you'll be the like thirstier one.
No. I hate it too. I hate it. It says all in my notes. I hate that I love this.
To be honest, I would have liked. I like the like reversal, but I almost would have liked if he was drunk at a bar, just like yapping at some dude, right?
I know. I was kind of like, I wanted that to happen as well.
Yeah, like I get it.
Yeah.
But
right. And didn't they already kind of like say that like vampires can't really get drunk though, right?
That's what I couldn't.
Oh, right.
I forget when they kind of talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do they stick with that rule? Because I feel like Spike's always drunk. Like, does Spike never get drunk?
I was going to say that.
Now.
He's always drinking. Is it more of like a habit, like a phantom habit?
Maybe.
I feel like it is.
It could be.
Mine would be cigarettes. I would just
be smoking
all
There you
day.
go. Just pantomime a cigarette smoking.
Yeah. I feel like,
you don't even breathe.
If I were a vampire, I'd still do a pantomime of like smoking weed just to like get comfort. Like, Ian, it's not doing anything. I know, but it makes me feel good.
He does a good job though, and he's very cute when he's acting drunk too.
He is, right?
Yeah.
So we get he's actually kind of tracking these vampires who Jason, who is the lead vampire of this gang?
Oh my God. I was going to say this because the thing is, when this vampire gets dusted, as you will, he appears on an island.
Yes.
Just so y'all know, it's Sawyer from Lost. What's his name? I don't know his name.
Right over my head. I watched it with no contacts in, so I don't know any of these actors, but I'll take your word for
it. Summer, did you also watch Lost?
Oh, hell yeah. I watched it when I was
Yo, can you do Lost after this?
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh, you should, Ian. Can we just speed through the 5 seasons? Let's just go now.
You know what? Let's do all the episodes right now. Let's get to Lost.
There are a lot of people in Angel who were in Lost, which is bizarre.
Yes, it's such a weird, like, because then the guy that's the head of Wolfram and Hart for like, I think for most of this season or season 2 is the guy that was Rose and Bernard. He was the Bernard half of the like elderly couple on the island. It's a very weird I know this show has a lot of Lost actors and Law and Order, but I didn't watch Law and Order. But yeah, I love that Sawyer from Lost just plays this like stupid vampire for 2 seconds.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I had forgotten. So I think also later it is this season. Yeah, Jeremy Renner plays a vampire.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God, yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to go through this again.
Summer, isn't it like he plays like a vampire that Angelus had like sired or something, right?
Yeah, they had history. We'll just say that. But it was like he was so young. It was so weird to see him on
Does he have blonde frosted tips in it?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
I'm looking at it. That's cringy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I tweeted yesterday. It was like, anyone who like has been on the podcast and would like and watched Angel and wants to come on, like let me know. And Jamie Jirac, who has been on a few times, just tweeted the picture of Jeremy Renner as a vampire and was like, yes, me. So Angel follows this guy, Sawyer takes the ladies out. He says he's bringing them to a club. And when he attacks them, is when Angel pretends to still be drunk and stumbles upon the group. And I love that Sawyer from Lost, Josh Holloway, says, "Shut up and die" is his like big line. Angel kicks the shit out of all of them. I'm curious what everyone thinks, because I liked the idea of them, but then I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. They're like, when he has those stakes on his arms that like jut out.
I know.
That are, like,
do they
strapped.
continue with that, or is that just
not for too long though?
But they
I
do.
feel like for this season they do, but I feel like after that, I remember be like, why does he have that anymore?
Yeah, I think like they wanted to like introduce him to like the non-Buffy fans as like, this is like Batman, you know?
Right.
And, like that
I like
whole-
it though.
Yeah, they wanted to get people that way. Like, this is the anti-hero. And he's
He's taking so much charge in this episode, and like even with the stakes and the arms, it feels like he's taking charge. And Buffy, it feels like Buffy would have to tell him to put the stakes in his sleeves, but like here he did it himself.
I would have snacks
sexy.
in that contract.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Can you imagine pop and be like, I'm hungry, bam, hot dog in my hand.
Because I was like, I couldn't remember how long they go on, but I know we do see them again, but it is kind of like, it's cool, but also like maybe dangerous for a vampire to be walking around with those attached to his arm.
Yeah. Right? What if someone bumps into him?
And he just falls onto it.
That would be a good episode.
That would be how I killed myself by accident if I were a vampire. I was like, oops, I was trying to do these cool weapons and then I stabbed myself.
Yeah.
So the blonde girl goes to thank him. Angel, this is a beat that I was like, oh, this is stupid. And I read that they were trying in this first episode to show that Angel's still struggling with redemption, but I feel like...
Is it the blood part? It made no sense. I was like, This is dumb. This is like, he is fine. Sir, you are 100 years old. You are okay. You've learned to live without this blood for a long time.
Like, is he still reeling from like turning again? Because it's not blood that turned him. I was just like, no.
It's not even Slayer's
Doesn't
blood,
work.
right? Like, if anything, he would be craving Slayer's blood, but he's not even it's not Slayer's blood. Maybe it's potential blood. I don't know.
Did they do that more for the blood or more for, yo, I'm lonely, just stay away from me?
Or is it like,
That's what it was.
Let me just stay lonely.
They really do stress the fact that like he has a type, right? Because it's like,
there's a lot of blondes in this one.
A lot of blonde girls. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, am I the only one who's seen this, or is this like this is on purpose?
No.
All the brunettes recognize it. We're all understanding it.
But I was also like, was it just a complete lack of diversity back in the day, or is this like a conscious choice to just cast
blonde and brunette? That wasn't the
There's definitely a little bit of both for sure.
There was one redhead.
that was their diversity.
That was them they were getting real crazy with that one.
Watch
out. So we cue credits. First
Oh, wait. Can we talk about the credits though?
Sure, go ahead.
When I first saw those credits, I still remember being like, oh yes, I'm gonna love this show. The song, they're like, I don't know what it was. The credits like triggered me like, oh yeah, this Los Angeles is a dark place and everyone's lonely. Like, it really like woke up something inside of me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like I loved the credits.
Yeah.
That's all.
Do we know who did the song? The song was done specifically for this, correct?
I know.
I would assume.
Actually, I'm not sure about that.
That should be some trivia that we should know right now. But it is fantastic, and it is dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a seedy city. There's something going on in every alleyway.
Yes.
And it is Batman summer. It's Batman.
I do like that you brought that up. Like they really went Batman route here.
They did. Well, Doyle even says that. He's like, oh, nice Batcave. Like,
But there's only 3 actors in this damn opening, and then it's all
wild.
just like shots of people and randomness, and
Yeah.
it's like
So-
this is too long for that, sir.
So Zach, I got your fun fact while we were talking. It's
Okay.
I knew the band's name, but it's Darling Violetta, and they did because it is just called the Angel theme. So clearly they made it for Angel. And Jason, wasn't it your ringtone for a while? When we were together?
Forever. I think I you know, because I watched it late. So once I heard it, I'm like,
Did you download the ringtone though, or did you hold it up to a
I think I
speaker?
downloaded. I honestly don't remember. I didn't record it, but I either downloaded something and turned it into a ringtone. Whatever I did, I just remember like, yeah, I'm dark, like Angel.
Oh, Jason. Well, Jason, you used to be really good. I remember you had like so many different ringtones because I always think of, what is it, the Legend of Zelda noise? And you'd be like, that's you, Ian. Because it's a little like,
Hey, listen.
Yeah, the little like sprite going, hey, listen. And anytime I hear that noise, I think it's me.
I need to hear it now. I need.
Yes, I feel like I have said this a million times, I think, to both of you, but like Zach and Jason, my friendship with both of you is very similar. So I feel like you two would have a lot to, one, commiserate about, and then also celebrate because you love being my friend, right?
We'll make a date of it.
Absolutely.
We'll make a date of it. So Angel
Yeah.
goes into his back cave now, right? Like he
Yes.
goes. So he had a mansion in Sunnydale, like this big ass mansion.
Yeah.
Why is he? Where's the penthouse? Huh?
I mean, that
Hold
does
up.
track.
I'm saying this place is large for being living in a city now. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, you have an elevator,
Right.
2 floors.
Exactly.
Views.
I don't care if it's a basement. Like you are owning right now. Like where'd you get this money?
Yeah. Like, I mean, Jason, you have lived in LA, and Summer, you live in LA, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Nobody has an elevator.
Is that considered? Is that considered generational wealth if he's that old? If he's just like giving it to himself?
Yeah. He's giving it to himself.
Willing it to grandson Angel.
So he is in his very nice basement space and enters Doyle, which I did read. And I know that I had heard this a lot, but I couldn't find like an actual confirmation if this is true, that it was supposed to be Whistler from Becoming Part 1 and 2. That was Doyle's role. But then that actor was unavailable because he was like in a show. So they just created the character of Doyle.
Oh, I love Doyle.
Yeah,
Oh
I do
my
like
God,
him.
I do
Yeah.
love Doyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like I appreciated him more on this rewatch because I just don't rewatch, especially season 1 as often. But
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's cute and he's charming.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
absolutely like appreciating it because the actor died, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Glenn
Yeah.
Quinn, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like I read that they had talked about bringing him back, but then he passed away before they could they thought of bringing him back in a later season, but he had passed away before that could happen.
So
He
sad.
definitely is and his acting style, because the Buffyverse has a very specific acting style, I
It
think.
does.
Right? Okay.
It's like this self-aware banter.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing. It's a tone in itself.
Right. And I don't know that Angel always got actors that fit that. Like some of the side
Right.
actors didn't always quite fit that, were maybe too serious. But Glenn Quinn definitely fit in pretty well with that vibe. And especially this episode, Angel's very serious for this whole episode. And we need Doyle and Cordelia to lighten it a little, right?
Oh yeah.
So he comes in, he basically, I feel like I remember I asked Monica when we recorded for Dirty Girls, Jason, Zach and Summer, and I asked her a lot of the recapping, and she was like, oh yeah, you have to write that in. They make you write a recap where it's a character just saying what's happening, but it's a full recap because he basically recaps Angel's Buffy story.
Yeah. I like the idea though, because it's kind of to convince Angel yo, I know things.
Yeah.
Well, there had to have been people who started watching the Buffyverse through Angel too, right? So
I think so.
I guess it kind of makes sense. It's fine, and it's not that long. It really isn't. It's a minute or two, and then they move on.
It really,
and it's
it really worked. It was it was a lot of exposition, but what was good was it was for people who had watched Buffy and for people who had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
Like it worked for both.
It's all the guys who refused to watch Buffy, right? It's like this was their show.
Yes.
Oh, exactly.
Like Jason.
Exactly. What the shit?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Jason. It's a safe space. I will have 2 straight guy co-hosts this season.
That actually makes it unsafer, but that's fine.
Also fair. So we learn that Doyle is sent by the powers that be. He is half demon, half human. We also learn that he has visions. Their conversation continues. It starts in his apartment, and then they're walking down the street.
Mhm.
Angel even says why you? And Doyle's we all have something to atone for. Yeah, and I agree with you, Summer. It does work, right? Because Doyle is charming. If the character weren't charming, it wouldn't work, but he is.
He is. And they make fun of what he's doing too. They're almost
yes.
I'm explaining you the premise of this show. Also, it's kind of a procedural format because the network said it should be. Even in that line in Are You Game? And it's okay, so it's basically so are you gonna watch?
Yeah.
This basically happens in the first episode of Buffy too, right? Angel kind of does this. I mean, he's not explaining the plot or anything, but he's kind of the walk alongside Buffy in the alley thing. He appears and so it fits. And I think it works. I just I could not stop staring at the vastness of these sets. They're on full city streets with 50 extras in the background. Budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, and immediately, right? That's so different from Buffy because Buffy, and we're all huge Buffy fans here, so it's not to knock it, but Buffy was very much a set.
Buffy's got 3 walls.
Yeah,
you don't get a 4th. No 4th wall.
And right, those extras probably cost money. So I remember in season 7 when she's clearly walking around the Grove, and it's this is one of the few scenes where we've seen 1, an outside setting, and 2, a lot of people walking around, and it almost feels weird. But yeah, so we get all the exposition. We set up the show. Doyle tells him about Tina.
Wait, before you go there, I just think because I don't want to pass over one of my favorite things.
Okay.
Because I feel this is the first time we hear powers that be in this. But
yes,
I think my favorite thing about it though was Angel was what do they be? What would they be? What?
Exactly.
And I was just that was my reaction when I heard that. I was just yeah, what are they being? What are they doing?
Yeah.
I always get the powers that be and the elders confused from Charmed, so I never know what is what.
Because we'll be hearing that term a lot, obviously.
Yes.
So it's just funny that that's how he reacted, because that's how I reacted when I first heard it. I was what are they being?
Yeah.
Oh.
It is funny because it's so casual, but then it becomes such a big deal.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was ooh. There it is. There's the words.
But as a teen, I thought using the powers that be instead of saying God or heaven was so cool. I was aha, they're not conforming to these religious whatever.
You would do it.
Right.
You
I know.
would.
Right.
Goodness.
But yeah, I would always be think that was such a cool way to not have to make it religious, but
right.
They're kind of talking about whatever. So he does. So Doyle tells him about Tina, which I'm now realizing. I think back to your point, Summer, of was this lack of diversity or what? I kind of thought Tina. Tina was the girl in the beginning, and I'm just realizing now she was not the girl in the beginning.
She was not.
She was blonde girl number 2. Blonde girl number 2.
I think they wanted these actresses to remind us of Buffy, though. I think they did. They wanted it to be the blonde that he loved, but in a different role. These were very much damsels. And I was very disappointed in some of Tina's choices in this episode.
But I loved her. I was very disappointed that she dies later because I did really like her. Yeah. And I think when she comes storming out of the restaurant with the pepper spray, I was fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, that was cool.
Get his ass. But then she goes back to his house and she's
oh my God,
sleeping on the bed, and she's no.
Yeah. I was girl, why are you immediately clinging to him in a romantic way? You don't you were so ballsy, exactly with the pepper spray. It was I fucking like you. And then it was
she's tougher than that.
Yeah. It didn't make sense. Some of her decisions were frustrating. And
that's just to like forward Angel, right? That's just to forward him and make him the hero.
Basically. And to tell the audience what we don't already visually see. Like, he is appealing. Like, like we know.
So he impresses her by catching her coffee cup, and I couldn't help but think of that like Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man scene where he's like catching everything.
Yeah.
Angel did it first.
But also, like, as a woman, okay, like when he brings her to his little bat cave, first of all, I'd be like, okay, shady. Like,
right.
Who lives under an alley? Weird. But then like, they're having this whole conversation and her back is to a wall of literal like medieval weapons. Girl, get the fuck out of there.
Her only comment is like I see you have a pass too or something or something like that. Yeah. Like that's what you're taking from this?
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Summer, I hadn't even thought about that point, but you're right. The medieval weapons on the wall, like, would be like.
We're not women, Ian. We're not women. She's having to think forward like this.
Deal breaker. I mean, anybody. I like if I went to like a girlfriend's house, I'd be like, "What kind of shit are you in?"
Okay, though, because we all just came from Buffy. Buffy had these experiences. Okay. Any of Dawn's friends that came over to the Summers house probably saw some shit.
You have 11 crossbows in your closet, Dawn?
Oh, the school play. That's the school play. Like, is Angel using the school play excuse still? Is that what he's saying with all of his medieval weapons on the wall?
So wait, we're getting a little ahead. So him and Tina, they do have the date, and she does come out with the pepper spray. I will say, like, I forgot that happened, and I did write down, like, oh, maybe I do like her. Like, she's not just like blank, but that's kind of the only moment of like whatever. But I did like, she like says, I think in this scene when they're outside, once she puts down the pepper spray, I think they actually do have some chemistry here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a very hard sell on a one-off character. Like, I used to watch Doctor Who a lot. I gave up, but Doctor Who would always try to sell us on a one-off character.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know why, but like, I just have trouble with that. Like, I'm like, this character is going to die, so I don't care.
Right.
But I did like this scene, and I even like, she's talking about she's from Missoula, Montana, and like, she asked him if he went, and I love when he's like, during the Depression.
I love it. That's one of my favorite lines of the episode. Yeah. It's good. It's really good. That was a good cover.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was a good
I think the whole thing in the coffee shop and out though is like is it like the way he like can't like just speak to people. I was like, this is me. Like when I get a chance to talk to drag queens, I'm like, tee, like I don't know what to say.
But I hope if somebody tells you I get off at 10, you go off and you do something. You don't just wait outside until she's done. Okay, like have a little bit of tact, dude. You're 100 years old.
Exactly.
That was the thing I was thinking. Like, it's like he's so bad at talking to her, but like, yeah, he's 100. He was evil. He murdered people. And like, we already got 3 seasons of like, he like was fine in season 3 of Buffy. Even like when they break up, like he's still like, you know, chatting up Giles and whatever. Like he's like fine. So it's like,
I still think in this episode, he is miles better than he was in Buffy. I still am I'm okay with him in this episode. Yeah.
All right. Huh. That's a bold take, Zachary.
I think so. He didn't annoy me.
Maybe it's because you were so thirsty, though.
Oh, it could be. The sweater did it.
We make allowances. So she tells him that she has to go to this fancy party. She mentions Russell, who we will later meet. Angel offers her a ride, and he goes with her. And I do like, because again, I agree with you, Zach. Like, he does look good in this episode, and I do like that. That's like a running gag. Like, they know he looks good. So like immediately when they walk into the party, the woman, her name is Margot, she hits on him and is like, who's this tall, dark, and handsome?
Oh yeah, this bitch. She is like, who the fuck
That's
is
Jolene.
Margot?
That's that Jolene that Dolly Parton been warning you about.
Yeah, she's the shadiest woman in town. So shady.
And like, I love the gay guy coming up to Angel and hitting on him. Like, I loved that when he's like,
Yeah, was that just David Boreanaz arriving into Hollywood? Is that his story? Because
Right?
I feel like that was
That's what I
pretty
wonder. I was like, because
similar.
this is so LA. Like,
Mhm.
this is like, you
I
know, yeah, it was something.
But also, I'm like,
I
why
hated
wasn't I invited to any of these weird parties? Like, it's just
I think the episode shows it's probably best that you weren't.
Summer, I love that you're like, why wasn't I invited to these vampire parties where they're murdering people?
Why didn't they want to murder me? I don't understand.
Also, question: shouldn't you not be able to see Angel on camera, or is
I
that just
know.
mirrors?
I think they've always like the video. They've never addressed that, and you can see them on video. I think because like in Halloween, the Buffy season 2 episode, Spike is recording Buffy's moves, right? And he's like he's recording Buffy fight one of his like minions, and that's captured on video. So like,
Okay,
I feel like I think of Kirsten White when she's been on. She wrote 2 Buffy novels, and she always says that like their systems and their like whatever are always like a little fast and loose. It's kind of like, well, whatever the plot means.
gotcha.
Which that's fine.
Because there's another thing in here later on that I'll be like,
I didn't even notice that he was on video.
Yeah.
Wow.
When Russell's looking, right, Jason?
Yeah, well, yeah, they well, actually, when Russell's looking, they don't show Angel, which I was like, okay, that's good.
Oh,
It's just here, he's in the shot. You see him on the video camera,
Right.
like how they do like the amateur video camera shot.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They show him on that, and that's it. They actually don't show him wrestle later, which I was like, okay, that's good.
yeah.
Right.
Well, someone was paying attention.
I'm trying to because I never take notes. I'm just gonna wing it.
So the man like gives him his card and is like, I'm not hitting on you. I have a relationship, but you're an actor. And Angel's like, I'm not an actor. And he's like, you're funny. And then we hear Queen Cordelia's voice.
Yeah.
And I like every scene that she's in, it immediately makes it more engaging and like fun. Because she's such a lighthearted character. Summer, what do you think of this Cordelia entrance?
I mean, I thought it was just iconic. Like, it was immediate. Right? Yeah, the Cordelia reveal I thought was iconic. And in that one line, she says so much. She's just like, what does she say? She's like, I'm an actress. And what was that line?
She's like, oh, I'm just doing it for some money. But like,
like the subtext is like, I'm Cordelia, bitches. Like, and she looks amazing. And it's just, it's such a refresher because she is so like her wit and her dialogue is so Buffy. So it's like that like beautiful zeitgeist that Buffy was like, bam, in Angel, which is so nice because they are setting it up, I thought, and I could be completely off, as like a different kind of procedural, but still fitting that slot almost. Like they did kind of make it like appealing to those who would probably not be drawn to Buffy. And I feel like with Cordelia, the fans of Buffy are like, oh yeah, like that's the familiarity.
That's it. She's the home, right? Like, and I also really love that it feels like Cordelia's this is like a reset for Cordelia in a way. Like she feels new here. Like she feels like she's isolated from the Scoobies. She's kind of, in LA by herself. She's making her own way. She's got goals. She's got dreams. But like we see all that in this first episode, and it feels like a whole refresher on her. Yeah. But at the same time, she still feels like home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also because like in this whole thing, like Angel's also alone. And like immediately she starts talking about Angel like, oh, you're not gonna like hurt anyone, are you? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like really cool to be like, oh yeah, she knows Angel. She knows about vampires. Like, does everyone in this party know about vampires? Hello,
right?
So it's just really cool to like just see that and her talking so nonchalantly about it.
Yes,
I really like that.
I think that's also what it is, Jason. The fact that she's just like, oh yeah, like she's just very casual about the fact that he's a vampire and is like, whatever. And it's like a crowded party, and she's like, are you still all? Grr?
I feel like in scenes like this, we're supposed to pretend that they're whispering to each other and that nobody else can hear them.
And I just, it's really it's so weird that it took them so long to realize how good she was, and like that they should use her more. It's so like because it takes them almost till the end of the season to realize that, and like and I will say like they do play well off each other. Like when I watched it live, I remember being like, no, I don't want them together ever. Like Angel has to always love Buffy. But like as an adult, it makes sense, right? It feels like organic.
Oh, it makes so I know like I was shocked as I watched Angel into the later seasons how much I was rooting for them, because I was like you. I was like, he can never love another, you know?
Right, yeah.
but it almost like and I feel like it's like bad to say or something, but I almost was rooting for them more than I was for him and Buffy, because they were so doomed, and it was such a healthier, it was built on friendship and respect and time spent with each other, as opposed to this like anguished, it'll never work, like young love. And I don't know, I'm pissed they didn't give her what she deserved either. I'm like, she should be a show.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
It's the Cordelia show, even though it's Angel.
Those are my notes. Those are my notes. Is that the whole first season should have been just us watching Cordelia make her way in Hollywood.
Exactly.
I would have loved it. Listen,
and Angel's there sometimes.
A male action hero is always a really hard sell for me. I would much rather see a woman kicking ass, right? I just like it. Just for me, it just sells better that way.
Yeah.
So I'm already watching it critically like that. I'm like, you have to sell Angel to me. He looks cute, but like, sell him to me. And then Cordelia walks in. I'm like, I remember you staked somebody in the last episode. Let's see that again. Go ahead. Do it.
Yes, exactly.
And I think about that a lot, because I asked Charisma when we interviewed her, and she said literally she asked if she could, because she was like, listen, Cordelia's been living on the Hellmouth her whole life. She would know how to stake a vampire. And that she specifically asked He Who Shall Not Be Named. And he told her that day that she was the only one that was nice to him, so he would let Cordelia stake a vampire for that scene.
Goodness.
Oh my god, she's the action star. Like, she so clearly looks like the action star.
Yes.
Summer. See, it's funny. Someone on Twitter just yesterday, I was like, oh, I'll be announcing the co-host soon, and I sent this to Zach because I was like, oh my god, look what someone said. Let me see. Pelafina said, let's be real, the standing expert on Cordelia Chase is Summer Bishil. You should have her on.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
They were having their own Cordelia visions about you being on this.
It's an honor. I'm like, whatever. If people want to compare Margaret to Cordelia, like, my job is done. Okay.
I love that you like very much love that.
Hell yeah. Like, thank you.
So she tells Angel she's got to be talking to people who are somebody, and I love that Angel says like shittily, oh, it's nice to see she's grown as a person, but like eat shit, Angel, because she has.
And middle fingers up. You are over 100, Angel. You have had time to grow as a person. She's 18 years old. Give her a fucking minute.
Exactly.
And I almost like that they almost undercut that like almost immediately, because like, what is it, like 2 scenes later we just see a quick blip of like Cordelia not doing great in her apartment, and like, getting a message from her agent saying like, oh, we'll call you. And I just like that they turn that on its head pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So Tina gets like this man like is aggressively arguing with her, like grabs her arm. Angel jumps in. They leave, and then they get like ambushed as they're leaving the building in the elevator. And this is such a weird bit, but I liked it when Angel jumps into the wrong convertible and is like,
oh,
was that what happened? Oh, I thought he didn't have his keys. Okay.
No, he jumped in the wrong thing, and he looks over, and there's his car next to him. I freaking love that. And I was just like, this is what Cordy brings to the table right here.
Gosh.
That's exactly, I was like, this is Cordelia's fault somehow, but it's great.
Listen, Fanny flutters. I was like, oh, he just jumped in that convertible.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's what made it so awesome is that he had that nice jump, and it's like, oh yeah, here we go, and then it's like, yeah, that's not the right
He's
car.
cool in this. He's like in this episode, he's so much cooler than he is in Buffy. Like in Buffy, he's never doing anything. Like he's standing around and standing in shadows. Like he's jumping around here. He takes like the security camera and like quickly rips the cord out of it. Like he's doing shit. And
that's
it
true.
just
That's
really
true.
does build him up for me.
Yeah. So then they have this like very mini car chase in a parking garage, and the other car crashes. Angel gets Tina to safety, brings her to his...
So Tina, get in the car!
Right? It goes back to what you said, Summer, right? It's like she was tough, and then she's just immediately like, he's like, get in the car! And she's like, okay.
Yeah! Yo, but Angel has a cool car, and I love that it's vintage like he is.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the same car as Interview with the Vampire?
That'd be tight.
Because I'm getting a lot
like
of Interview with the Vampire like vibes in this episode.
Yeah.
Zach, I hadn't thought about that, but you might be right, because they do drive a convertible, right?
I'm probably wrong, but you know what? We're going to go with it.
Someone will tweet at us to let us know.
There's so many vibes. Like I got that vibe, and then I got like, it's LA, like if it were like grunge.
Yes.
But like in the early aughts, you know.
I really thought you were gonna do that meme. What is
I thought so too. I thought that's what you were about to do.
The girl, and she's
it's
like,
LA.
everyone has a drug problem. Yeah.
I had no idea how many people are on fucking Adderall. Like till like way later in life. I was just shocked. Like I just thought actresses were all like magically skinny. Like I didn't know this.
It's like when I first moved to New York, I remember the first time I realized, oh wow, when I'm going out, a lot of my friends are doing coke in the bathroom. And like I like didn't realize it till like a few years into living in New York. They're like, oh yeah, people are just, because I was like, I remember the first time someone offered me, I was like, oh no thank you. And then I was like, wait a minute.
I literally was like, I just have to pee.
Yeah, I know.
Can I pee?
Yeah, I'm already like paranoid enough. I don't need to add anything to the mix. Like my dad had it probably wasn't like the most PC drug talk, but and I shouldn't have watched this film, but he sat me down when I was 13. He put Requiem for a Dream in. And
oh God.
Yes. And he was like,
that'll do it.
Yeah. And he was like, if you do drugs, this is what's going to happen. I was like, got it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But weed was okay.
Yeah.
Summer, I'm disappointed in you. You're on that Requiem for a Dream path now. You're on the path.
When we were in Texas, me and Zach's one of his other close friends, he does another show with Troy. We were both like, we should have brought weed with us. Oh my God. And Zach was like the innocent one. And the two of us were like, where can we get it? I bought like tablets from a coworker that we used to work with, Jason, lives in Texas, and like sold me tablets that I'd never had them before, but they were like, we were like, oh, great, we'll get them. And I got Zach to have one, but then they didn't really do much.
We'd had tramps.
That's
funny.
Me.
That's
I
so
always
funny.
smoked because I did edibles once in Oregon. I was in Oregon and I was like, I just was convinced I was dying at like 4 a.m. I woke up and I was like, I'm dying. I called 911 and they're like, oh, did you do edibles? A lot of girls come here to do edibles. And then they
clocked you.
And they go,
no.
and then they call us. And I was like, right, okay.
This feels like a Patreon episode.
I know.
Listen. I did so many drugs in college that I feel like it gave me brain damage, and I just don't need them anymore. I'm good. I'm high on life now.
Zach. Well, Jason was there for the highest I ever was. We had stopped in Colorado, and I bought. Me and my other friend Kevin called it like garbage juice because it was like weed lemonade. It tasted terrible. And I drank way too much of it. And I got so high that I like made up a fight Jason and I had. And like wait,
I was laughing the whole time. I'm like, what are you talking about?
and I was positive he was laughing because he hated me. And I was just like, Jason, I'm so sorry. We're not friends anymore. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
And like, I really, really, like, I can still vividly remember the fight I thought we had. And like, but not knowing how it happened. And it was just like Jason
Do you
telling
know
me
why I
we couldn't be
remember it
friends.
though? Is
Why?
because that whole time Kevin got in the bathtub and was just sitting there. And it was like one of those bathtubs that was like, I don't remember. Like it was in the middle of the room. It was like a honeymoon suite or something.
Because the three of us
Kevin-
were traveling across country, and when we stopped at a hotel, we decided to get the honeymoon suite. Me and two straight boys got the honeymoon suite.
Luxurious.
But yeah, there was that hot tub in the middle of the living room.
And he was just in it. There's no water or anything. And he was just listening to the whole thing. He was like, how long have I been in here? I'd be like, dude, it's been like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I do remember being like, we have to go to bed. It's so late. And you were like, Ian, it's 7:30. But yeah, as Zach said, if this feels like a Patreon episode. Anyway, getting back to
Yeah,
Zachary,
sorry.
where are we in the episode?
I don't fucking know. I feel like I've been smoking weed for the past 10 minutes. I have no idea now. I don't. So they go. We're back at Angel's place, right? He takes Tina back. To,
Wait. Are we going to talk about how like they had an epic car chase in a parking garage?
It lasted 2 seconds.
Yeah, I do love a parking garage chase scene.
I just love how scared the driver was, though. I couldn't get over that face.
I know.
Like I was like, oh, this guy's scared. He doesn't even know who Angel is.
So he brings Tina back. They kind of have like a heart to heart, I guess, right?
And I liked it. I love seeing her as like this broken character from like we have enough build up for her character that they could have kept her around. She's from Montana. Yes. She's broken. Yeah. She's here in LA trying to make it. Like they could toughen her up a little bit in the further episodes, but she deserved to stick around. I liked her a lot.
Yeah. And I like I said, for a one-off character, like the actress brings it, and like she feels more dynamic than we normally get from a one-off. Character who's just gonna die at the end. But so we get that, and then we the things we learn are that her friend Denise is missing.
And he goes on the computer and searches.
All right,
what does he search?
Now that made me hot, honestly.
He searches murders young women, and finds it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That whole scene with him on the computers. I'm like, this is why Google created tabs,
right? I was like, why does he need 3 PCs?
Oh my god.
So
as I'm in here in front of 4 monitors. Sorry.
Yeah, I would say I've seen your setup, Jason. So he does some research. He finds out Denise is most likely dead. Then walks into Tina having a nightmare. Wait, did I skip over that? When the hell does Cordelia get the phone call?
Oh yeah, Cordelia. We did skip the Cordelia with the phone call.
We were at her apartment for like a minute.
Right. It's like right after the car chase is like real quick, and you get that's where you get that, you know.
And she's like literally hungry.
Oh, she has the same little sandwiches.
I've been in college and I've been fucking starving because I'm a poor college kid, and I'm just like, I just want my money to hit my account and I can get a pizza, like I can get something. And I love that she's like, this isn't the scene where she's meditating over a book that has a $sign on it, is it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, right, okay, that's what I was thinking. Right, that is after. Right, okay.
That's when she gets. Oh, that phone call. Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So another thing that they play. So she then sees the piece of paper Doyle wrote on. She like freaks out, runs out, and like this is another thing they play fast and loose with. That like Angel goes to grab her, and like just that sunlight lights his whole hand on fire. And like I was like, Spike spent all of season 4 walking in the sunlight, just smoking.
We don't talk about it. We just don't. We don't. It's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay.
He vamps out. She runs away. Then I guess then we like cut to her apartment, right?
I bet that was literally what the script said. He vamps out. Tina runs away.
Yeah.
Me, the script writer. So we finally meet Russell, who has been like, the looming villain for the whole episode. And the guy does a good job of like he's like being creepy predator who's just like being very calm and being like,
Yeah.
no, she's not dead. Like, what are you talking
like
about?
turbo manipulative.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
He's
this
a
is-
good first episode villain, I think.
He is, yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
he's like the metaphor for like the LA vampire. You know?
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
man who will suck you dry. He's
Oh my
sick,
God.
man. He is so sick.
And he looks scary when he vamps out too.
Yes.
He looks terrifying.
He's not your
Oh
average
yeah, I
vamp.
was wondering because like I know Angel's old and like one of the oldest vampires. When he like goes vampire mode,
He's
like he
green.
looks even older. Like
Yeah.
he might be moldy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It
A
looks
little
like
bit.
green and purple, like
Yes.
weird.
Slayerfest out of context. Make sure you cap that one. Moldy.
Yeah.
He's a moldy vampire.
He is.
So then he kills Tina, which I again had forgotten even happened.
Bastard.
Which like also I again, like what you said, Summer, they're like kind of telling you what the show's going to be. Like it's going to be a little bit like more grim almost. Like,
Yeah.
you know, this is the person Angel's out to save. Like the plot of this episode is, or the first half is save this woman, and then he does not, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like on Buffy, she would have saved her. Like that would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think this was supposed to be Jesse, right? Maybe like a false setup for some, or I guess not, because he wasn't she wasn't in the credits or anything, right?
And she wasn't. Yeah, I think it was just like, oh look, he will fail.
Right.
And we meet Lindsay, who Jason, I know you like a lot.
Yes.
And I didn't realize they don't even say his name in this. Like it's just
They
he's just,
don't.
like nondescript lawyer guy.
I actually forgot he was in the first episode. I was like, oh.
It's weird because we don't see him again for a while.
Yeah.
Like I think we see
okay.
other just like one-off Wolfram and Hart lawyers, but we don't see him for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, that breakdown was guest star, may recur.
Yeah.
He was sexy though. He was good looking. He did it for me. More fanny flutters.
Zach, I need to ask you. You're saying fanny flutters?
Fanny flutters. You've never heard that?
No.
Never.
Okay. Well.
Wait. So, I mean, like the flutters, I know, like, but
Fire in my loins. What do you want me to say? How do you want me to put it? Horny.
All right. I mean, yeah, I know what you're like getting at. So we like learned that like, you know, Wolfram and Hart, it says it on his bag, but I don't think he says out loud till like the end. They're like representing Russell. He's like protected, which again is like definitely like they're going for like the LA kind of like metaphor. And he's like, oh, you actually didn't see Tina, like blah, blah, blah. And then he like is reviewing the video. He sees Cordelia and says that he like wants to eat, right? And that's when we get Cordelia meditating, repeating her mantra. She's trying to manifest and we appreciate it. And she's just, you like, right. You just like, you like her. You just like, even if Cordelia isn't your favorite character, you like this character and like you want, you want her to do well, right? Like,
but especially though in this, like more than Buffy in this, like it's just like, yeah, we want more Cordelia on the screen here. So
because she's just like so fucking charming.
And at the end of Buffy, she accomplishes of something, right? With the entire group, she accomplishes taking down the big bad. She accomplishes, personal growth, and then we start her in this show, and she's starting all over again. And we see her at the bottom level, and we are going to follow her back up.
Yeah.
So fucked up.
So she gets a call from her friend Margot, who I love that she's just like doing random pills, like it's like very much pushing the LA.
I was like, they're really pushing like this this LA life, huh?
They're driving it home.
So she tells Cordelia that Russell is a man who like kickstarts everyone's career and he wants to meet with her. And for me, this is where the episode like really takes off. We immediately get Cordelia in the back of that limo, and I don't know if you all noticed, they played Buffy music when she's in the limo. Like that was the DVD. Yeah, that was it.
Notice that.
That was like for one of the season DVDs, that was the like DVD menu music.
I was trying to listen to the music
funny.
throughout this whole thing to see if they were recycling anything, and I couldn't pick it out.
And I mean, I definitely think that was on purpose to be like, look, this is a Buffy character that you love, and like they're like reminding you almost.
Right.
And she's just so cute, right? Like in the back when she's like, aha, look, I did, like she's like proud of herself and she's like excited. Her hair looks great.
I know. I love the hair. I love the hair in this episode for her.
She has great hair.
She does.
She does. And like, Angel finds Tina dead. And the thing I read in like trivia about this episode is originally they had him lick his fingers because they were bloody to show that he's like still going back and forth. But like,
who did that?
Right?
I would like to send them a message on Twitter. Who did that?
They like cut that, but they wanted to show like, oh look, he's still struggling. But like, we got 3 seasons of that. We know.
We got a whole first scene of that where he sees the blood. Like, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like that would have been 1, too much, and 2, maybe confusing to be like, why is he suddenly like sliding back, right?
Doing weird, like, pervish things. Just like licking his fingers over a dead body.
Yeah. So then he comes back home, and Doyle's there, and he tells Doyle he has to drive him to Russell's mansion. Which in my brain, I always thought he went there to save Cordelia, but he doesn't know she's there, right?
Right.
So then we get Cordelia in the mansion, and like,
oh my god,
she's so good. She's so good. Steals the episode. Steals it.
Oh,
it really is like for me such a good fucking moment. Summer, what did you think of this moment?
She's fucking amazing. I mean, first of all, at first I was like, wait, how does she not smell bullshit? Because she's Cordelia.
yeah.
And she grew up in Sunnydale. But then I was like, why wouldn't she believe she's going to be a movie star? Like, she should be. Like, what for me wasn't believable was that an agent would tell her studios didn't want to see any more of her. So I'm like, it's not that far reaching for her to like assume the positive is going to happen to her because she is a star. And then, you know, she gets there and like how she makes the connection is so funny.
Oh my God. It's so good.
And it's great. Like you can see her talking and processing on her face at the same time. Like Chris McCarpenter did a really good job with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that it seemed like she was blinded with the chance of fame.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like she comes out of it real quick and is like, wait a second.
I
love that.
And she shows her ass for a second and then she like does the nervous laugh. Did that feel like a Willow thing too? Like it felt like a scene that Willow could have done where she like, you know, says, you're a vampire. You have, you know, the curtains. I grew up in Sunnydale. And then she has like the nervous laugh at the end.
Yeah. It's a very Buffy scene. Like it feels like a scene that could be in Buffy, but like in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just like, God, she is so fucking good. And like the fact that she, like you said, Zach, you watch her talk through it and her face of being like, oh, I've never been invited. She's like, oh, fuck. Like,
because it's an instant dialogue change from like over talking to, hey, you're a vampire. But like, it's not abrupt like that if you're really watching her because her face is processing. Like she's doing a really good processing.
It's so good. She does. Oh my God. She does such a good job.
And like, it's also, it's good for them to remind us, right? Like she says, I'm from Sunnydale. We had our own Hellmouth. And like you said, Summer, she would smell the bullshit. Like she got there.
Yeah. You know what I love though? The Russell guy seems calm and collected throughout this whole thing, you know, building up to this. And then when she says it, he's like, no, I'm not. Yeah. Like that was his reaction. You're like, oh, like you see him kind of be like, oh shit.
Instead of being like vampire, what are you talking about? He's just like,
no, I'm not. Like that was his response.
Yeah. And like, you're right, Jason, because I do like, he's like this like menacing villain, but he's like clearly caught off guard that he thinks like, oh, this woman I was about to eat actually knows what's up. Fuck.
Because she's a brunette. She's not a blonde. You see how that diversity works.
Oh boy.
Doyle and Angel arrive at the mansion as this is happening. Angel cuts the power to the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
We see Russell chasing Cordelia, and I also like her delivery here when like Angel shows up and Russell, like she notices Russell doesn't know who she is. And she's like, you don't know who he is. Oh boy, you're about to get your ass kicked. Like, I think that's,
I loved that too.
Right. And then Angel like kind of does kick his ass. We also get the beat, which I love, where we see Doyle like amping himself up to crash through this gate. And like, I don't know what I remembered happening, but I literally thought before it happened, I don't know that car would actually go through that like metal gate. And then it doesn't. It just like smashes into it. which I liked.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what was a weird moment? Like it almost, and I don't know if I clocked it correctly, but it was almost like he was like, he heard the guns and was like, oh, fuck this. And then he had a change of heart and came back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. He heard the guns and that's when he was like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, you're probably right. I thought it was like he was like building up speed, but you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like that he's like, oh, good date. Angel gets shot a lot. The guards come in. Him and Cordelia have to like jump off the little.
I was hoping Cordelia was going to fight a little bit. Just a little bit.
Right.
I know.
Really? The theme was damsel in distress.
Very much so. Like we get it, Angel. Okay, now.
Cordy can do a little bit here.
She can run down a stair. You know.
So then they go back to like they basically just leave because there's all these guards. They go back to Angel's headquarters and like
show his nips. Oh,
he looks very nice shirtless.
I'm glad you said it first.
Zach, I love you as a thirsty one.
He's good. He's fucking sexy in this one. Like I don't know what happened because I don't feel like that about him in Buffy.
Maybe it's just because your husband's been away for a few weeks.
It has been 2 weeks. You know, it has been a little while.
So, and I do like Cordelia has the line of, I thought I was going to faint while barfing when Doyle's like pulling out the bullets. Cordy asks if Russell will come looking for her. And I actually, I do like that. Like, she's like, he's not going to come looking for me, right? And Angel realizes he probably will. Mm-hmm. So then, Jason, what does Angel do?
Wait, for what part?
Failed that quiz. You failed the fucking test.
Zachary, what does Angel do?
I wasn't ready.
Angel bosses up and he walks into that lawyer's office and he said, "Excuse me, Lindsay, I got business here."
I know. I wish they would have kissed there too. That's probably what I was thinking.
He would never have done that in Buffy. It's like such a cool move too. Yeah. And he like puts his foot between the guy's legs and it like gets real close. And I don't know what he says. I don't know. I wasn't just concentrating on the foot between his legs, but like, it's a good scene.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, and like. You're right, Zach. He wouldn't have done that. Like that wouldn't have been something they would have let him do on Buffy. It feels like more bold, and I love it. I like this is where I'm like, ooh, like Angel was a little bit like, for most of the episode, but this I like.
Mm-hmm. This honestly sold me on Angel though. Like this scene,
yeah.
Jason,
like,
I remember
me.
you like.
I was like,
I remember you saying that when we first watched this together in our apartment.
Oh yeah, like this whole like because it's like. It's like, oh, like, yeah, you know, he can't be accused of everything. And it just seems like this is going to be the villain arc here. You know what I mean? Like, this seems like, oh my God. And then Angel's like, I don't play by LA rules.
Exactly.
Because I love the guy lists all the things, right? He's like, I pay my taxes, I blah, 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 keep my name out of the paper, and I can do anything I want. And then
Angel's like, listen here, Elon Musk. Kicks him out of the window. I was just saying that.
I was just like, I can't wait till Elon Musk pisses off the wrong person.
The wrong vampire.
The wrong vampire.
And he pushes him out the window. And I will even give the show credit. It like is shot pretty well, right?
Is that a practical effect? Like, do they have a guy on a wire outside of a building? Because it looked real.
Right.
So you know, coming from doing stunts, they can make like a 20-foot fall, even like as simple as make it look like you're on the top of a building, like the way they shoot.
That looked like a camera outside of an actual LA building, though.
Yeah. And fun fact, Jason Sullivan went to stunt school, so he knows how to how a stunt is done. I think of that picture of you on fire often, Jason. But yeah, and like this
looks shot differently though. It does look like they did like a camera on a wire outside of a building.
Again, they would never have given Buffy money to do that.
Yeah, no. So the guy, and I even like the shot of when the chair lands and it's just like a bunch of dust.
I love the chair. Yeah, the chair and nothing.
So he gets rid of Russell, goes back to the headquarters, and we see that Lindsay calls Wolfram and Hart and is like, "There's a new player in town." Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. He comes back and he's like not as like Doyle wants him to be happier, right? And he's like, I killed a vampire. And then we hear Cordelia scream, and I love that it's over a cockroach.
Yeah.
I know.
And then she gives herself a job.
Yeah. And I love, so like we keep saying, they do really set the, like, this is going to be the show, but Cordelia literally lays out his business plan for the, like, next 4 seasons, and I fucking love that.
Which makes her ending unforgivable.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, I love that they did that, though, because, like, I didn't even realize, like, I haven't watched the first episode in forever. So I was like, oh, they really, like, set kind of everything up here. Like,
yeah, right. It's like, oh,
they
that's
did a
the
good
show.
job.
Yeah.
Because I think when I first watched the first thing, I was like, where's this going to go?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, what are they going to do? How are they going to find more? Because it still hasn't shown Doyle with a vision here.
Right.
It hasn't shown, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
like
he
is
just
messing
says he
with
had
us?
it, right.
Yeah, he just says, like, so it still really doesn't show much. So we're like, all right, well, how's this gonna work? You're just gonna get lucky again? Like, he just gave a piece of paper.
That's true.
Like, are we sure it's not someone Doyle's stalking, or
Yeah.
you know? So I feel like we still, like, even though he did recap Angel's life, we still don't know much about Doyle. So I feel like we didn't know where this was going yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Which, when you watch back and know everything, you're like, oh, they really
I wish
set
I was
everything up.
watching it with like pure eyes and like really knew nothing that was coming.
Right.
Yeah, I always think it's funny. So my 2 roommates in New York were Jason and then our other friend Kevin. And when I got Kevin to watch Buffy, I always think of this. Like during Hush, when Willow and Tara like first grab hands and move the vending machine, him looking at me and being like, oh man, they should hook up, but they're not going to, right? Because this is like an older show. They don't have gay characters. And I was like, I can't believe that wasn't spoiled for him. And I was like so excited that like he was going to get to like see the, you know, this like budding romance between the two of them. And yeah, I think about that a lot, how like a lot of the groundwork is laid here and how fun that is for someone who wouldn't know that it's actually laying all the groundwork. But yeah, this end is cute. And I just like, Charisma Carpenter is so fucking good. And like, she's even in this scene, she's like speaking with confidence and then is like, you know, and you pay me a flat fee if you'll have like the way she just like, she's so good. But I have to point out, I don't know if we noticed Doyle's really gross line.
What does he say?
He says, because Angel's like, I know you think she's hot. And he says, she's a stiffener, all right.
Yeah, I completely missed that. I didn't even hear that.
I think I'm also watching it with different eyes because of like, you know, he who must not be named.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, and when I heard that, I was like, oh God.
Right.
Come on. Like, you know, like I was just like, come on.
Guys, it's okay. He will die. He's gonna die.
But also, it's like, she's so smart. She's the only one who's like, look, we could monetize this, and this is exactly how.
Okay, and can we talk about this for a second? Because everybody gives Anya shit about that in Buffy, but Cordelia is on that same wavelength, and these people get it. They're like, yes, it's a business. We'll charge.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do pro bono work, and we'll do some charging work.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Zach. It's like Anya literally says the plot of Angel in season 6 when she's saying that to Buffy. She's like, just start charging. And Buffy gets like, oh, you would say that. But it's like, well, no, actually, that makes sense. Like,
like, but that's the thing is that I think the only reason it's accepted now is because they showed that Cordelia was struggling and everyone was like, oh, I feel bad now.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Buffy couldn't pay her mortgage.
Buffy was going to lose that house.
She had to work at a burger joint, and none of the rest of them got jobs.
A vegan burger joint. You just didn't know it.
So, yeah, Angel says he's game. We cut to credits. Yeah, now that we're at the end here. Jason, what's your favorite scene?
Oh, I mean, it's there is 2 because it's a toss up. It's the end scene that we were just talking about. But when Cordelia is just like, hey, you're a vampire. Like, they're my 2 for sure, absolutely.
I feel like we're all gonna have the same. Summer, what's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, honestly, it's got to be when Angel marches into Wolfram and Hart and is like, "There's a new sheriff in town, motherfuckers."
It really is.
Yeah, it's like the moment he decides. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do a full 13 episodes."
Yeah.
You know?
Zach, what's your favorite scene?
Cordelia clocking the vamp.
Yeah.
It's just too good.
Yeah, for me, it's a tie between both of those scenes. Like Jason, I had Cordelia realizing he's a vampire, and then the window throw. Favorite outfit, Summer?
Everything Cordelia. No, honestly, like I'm loving the Doyle layers.
I do like them. They don't. It's like very of the time, but he wears it well.
Yeah,
But it's also very LA of the time, which is like it's great.
Yeah.
Jason, what's your favorite outfit?
Oh, well, is it allowed to be when Angel's getting the bullets taken out of him?
Yeah, that's
when he's wearing bullets.
The one patch.
Because you get to see his nips.
Jason. Zachary?
I do like when all the parking garage stuff. So whenever he's wearing that black sweater, I think it looks so good on him. And I wish they wouldn't have kept him, because he wears the trench coat for most of it, right? Like
yeah.
I just wish they would have taken that off of him, because David Boreanaz looked really good in that sweatshirt.
And Zach, I love when we agree, because mine is Angel in that, because I couldn't tell if it was a sweater or just like I couldn't tell what it was, but he looks, and like even it being a V-neck makes it feel so dated, but he wears it well. It frames him well. Now we're gonna grade the episode, and I think you all have changed my grade. I think. Summer, what grade do you give the episode?
I mean, honestly, like I said at the beginning, at first it was just something I got through, but for what they had to sell to the audience in the time they had to sell it, I think they did a really good job. So, I mean, I would give it a B or a
okay.
Well, I would give it a C. Okay, it passed, but it needed to have much more Cordelia.
Yeah, agreed. Zach, what grade do you give it?
So I think in a way I agree with Summer in that it is one that I often, every time I've watched, have to get through. But I've never actually talked about it with anybody else. So I think that bumped it up a little bit for me. And I think I'm going to do like a solid B.
Okay. Okay. Jason?
I'm gonna say B+ for sure. Because I think like watching it back and watching it set up the whole thing was so great. And the thing is, I would argue they put just enough Cordelia because they want to show that the show is going to be dark, like darker than than more.
That's interesting.
So I feel like if it was too much Cordelia, it'll be like, all right, well, it's still going to be the Buffy vibes.
We could have swapped a damsel scene for a Cordelia scene.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But like the thing is, the Cordelia scenes were always very like Cordelia. So and I really liked how I when I first watched like the building up of Tina, and then Tina dies, I'm like, oh, this is how it's gonna work. But then again, when Angel was just like, nah, get off my show, and gets that vampire out of there, I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a darker show. Like, and I feel like that B+. It's a good setup, and I wouldn't have given it a B+ before. I would have probably said like a C maybe before watching it again.
Well, I will say you all bumped me up. My original grade was D+, but I'm going to go.
Holy shit! Damn. Are you you're the owner and the host of Slayerfest 98 covering Angel, right? This is your show. D+, everybody. D+.
No, Zach, it's your show. I'm just a co-host. But I bump it up to a C because I agree with.
Nice.
I do agree with what all of y'all said. Also, I just thought of something, Zach. Welcome to My Bloody Judy. Isn't Tina who dies halfway through? Isn't the girl who dies halfway through Nightmare on Elm Street named Tina?
Yes. Well? Yeah. Is that a connection?
I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but I just was like,
only two women named Tina in the history of the universe.
Well, because in Nightmare on Elm Street, they play it like she's going to be the main character, and then she dies.
That could be something. Yeah, probably. I mean, there was some sort of intent with that, like, because I feel like there was enough of a little bit of a fake out that she could be something, especially like her and Angel really did have chemistry, and I think they were playing that. I don't know. Yeah, there could have been something there.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Summer, Zach, Jason. I am so happy that I had the three of you for this first episode. I try really hard to pair people that I think will do well together. And I think I did a good job pairing y'all together because y'all did really good.
Yeah.
And this is like really fun. And thank you all for like tuning in and staying with us. We are going to have for June, it'll be weekly new episodes. And then after that, it might go down to like 3 new Angel episodes a month, depending on everything. But if you like the podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can also support us on Patreon. All 3 of you have been on for the Patreon episodes.
Yeah.
We also are covering Harley Quinn season 2 and What If season 1 over at the Patreon. Any and all support is much appreciated. If you want to follow us on social, we are at Slayerfest X98 on all social media platforms. I am Ian X Carlos on all social media platforms. Summer, where can everyone find you?
I'm Summary Bishil on Instagram, and I'm at SummerBishil1 on Twitter.
And Jason, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at Jason Sulli, Sulli, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube,
And Zach, where can everyone find you and your shows?
We'll just do the show. You can find a show I do with my husband, a talk show. We do 2 episodes a week. You can find us at Coffee and Tequila Show on all the things.
And you can find me and Zach's show, My Bloody Judy, at My Bloody Judy. And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.